one of the world's oldest known Esther scrolls has recently been gifted to the National Library of Israel in Jerusalem, home to the world's largest collection of texts of Judaica, where it also has been made available online for the first time ever. Esther scrolls contain the story of the book of Esther in Hebrew and are traditionally read in Jewish communities across the globe during the Festival of Purim, which will take place February 25th through 28th. Joining us now via Zoom is Dr. Yoel Finkelman, curator of the Judaica collection at the Israel National Library, here to talk about this very exciting new possession. Possession isn't the right word, but hello and welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
This is very exciting. I say possession, but we know that it was gifted to the library. But how cool to find an intact scroll dating back to the 1400s. Explain how rare and unprecedented this is.
Well, there are hundreds of Hebrew manuscripts from Spain prior to the expulsion of Jews in 1492. But liturgical scrolls are much more rare than textual manuscripts. And to find a fully intact Esther scroll used for liturgical purposes in the synagogue in Spain, a generation written apparently a generation prior to the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, is really magical. Really brings history alive right onto your computer screen.
Right. Now, explain what we're seeing. We're seeing on screen the pictures of the find. It is so unique. Explain, how you know when it was dated and what makes it unique to, the Jews of Spain prior to the Inquisition.
So people who are familiar with Torah scrolls and Esther scrolls today are surprised by the dark color of the leather upon which this is written. Typically today, liturgical scrolls, Torah scrolls, and Esther scrolls are written on parchment, which is whiter, lighter. But it was pretty common for Esther scrolls and Torah scrolls in the past, and in some communities until very recently, to be written on what is today referred to in Hebrew as gvil, but really means leather. And the leather is probably darkened over the last 550 or 600 years. This document has been both carbon dated and dated based on what's called paleography, which is the study of how the letters are formed and the handwriting.
Is it known that there are others like this, maybe in private hands? I know this was in a private collection prior to being given to the library.
This was in the private collection of Michael Jesselson of New York. The Jesselson family has been a generous friend of the National Library for decades, in previous generations as well. And this was, until its gift, known as the oldest complete Esther scroll in private hands. And there are a handful of medieval Torah scrolls in various collections, and a few more Esther scrolls, a bunch of them fragmentary. Many of them have survived only partially, and this one is complete.
So how does it feel, to get your hands on this? I mean, obviously we've had a hard year. The whole COVID started right after Purim, at least in Israel, last year. So here we are trying to celebrate Purim, trying to find joy in a holiday, which is about joy and celebration. So, this is a nice legacy of Queen Esther that we've found this at this time.
Certainly for me, at a personal level, after an entire year of COVID and being increasingly locked up at home and realizing that my own and my family's Purim celebration is going to be quite subdued this year, this is the kind of thing that puts a smile on my face. By the nature of things in my line of work, I find myself coming in contact with exciting historical documents on a pretty regular basis. And one of the things that I do at a personal level is try to constantly remind myself just how wonderful and special these documents are and how important it is to preserve them and make them available to people who don't happen to spend their days in the manuscript room of major research libraries.
Right. Well, amazing.